How is it going, everyone? DJ Neeks here, and welcome back to Heroes of the Storm. Today in the Nexus, we have another big patch today. A lot of changes were implemented today, specifically to camps, the structures like the forts, towers, and keeps. They did a lot of changes today. But of course, one of the more notable changes today is the addition of a new hero into the roster. It's another StarCraft hero, which I'm very happy about. It's a new warrior, and it's the Firebat unit from StarCraft, from the Terran side of things. This is a very intriguing choice, and I actually like it. This is Blaze, a veteran Firebat, a ranged warrior. Corporal Miles Blaze Lewis has always been drawn to the flame, but it wasn't until he joined up with Rainer's Raiders that he put up his pyromania to good use. He has seen his fair share of battles since then, and has never failed to bring the heat. So, as I said, he is a ranged warrior. As far as I recall, the only other ranged warrior in this game on this roster is Rexar. Though you supposedly could make a case for Zarya, but really she's not melee. In fact, let's recap here. Look at the warriors. When you look at the warriors here, never mind. D.Va is considered a ranged warrior. So is Zarya. So I take that back. Yeah. So I was right about Rexar, but really the only other ranged warriors are Zarya and D.Va. I guess I forgot D.Va is considered a ranged warrior because of her auto attacks for some reason. But then again, sometimes I forget that D.Va is actually a warrior, considering how often I'll see her not in her mech. But anyway, let's go back here to Blaze. So let's look at his skins. This is his base skin, you know, what you would expect from the Firebat from StarCraft, with a little bit more to him here, obviously, with some decals. He's supposed to be his own character now, obviously. I mean, we've seen that done now with Morales and Hammer, and now we're seeing it with Blaze. This is the Smokin' Blaze, Dominion Blaze. This is Veteran Blaze, and Hazardous Blaze. Now here is where it gets fun. Fel Reaver Blaze. Look at this. This looks amazing. But here is where it also gets cool. Smoldering Fel Reaver, Coldfire Fel Reaver, Abominable Fel Reaver, and then Infernal Fel Reaver. Oh my goodness, I want this skin so badly for him. You have no idea how badly I want this skin right here. So what is his kit like though? What kind of kit does he have? His Q is Flame Stream. Fire 2 streams that deal 83 damage to enemies hit. Flame Stream ignites oil spills that it comes into contact with, which is his W. Oil Spill, Vector Targeting. Dispense a sleek of oil that lasts for 5 seconds and slows enemies that come into contact with it by 40%. Oil spills are ignited for 2.5 seconds when hit by Flame Stream. Ignited oil spills no longer slows enemies, but instead deal 18 damage to them every 0.3 seconds. Additionally, Blaze is healed for 49 health every 0.3 seconds while standing in ignited oil spill. Stores up to 2 charges. This is a very interesting ability, and if you're wondering, I did mess around with him a bit in the PTR, so I kind of got familiar with how this worked. So I'm not going into this completely like I wonder how this guy plays. You know, I have a good idea. His E, though, I really like this. This is, you guys know, I love abilities that let you have the dual purpose of using it to either engage into a fight or disengage from a fight. And this is that ability. Jet Propulsion. After half a second, charge forward, colliding with an enemy hero, deals 52 damage to all nearby enemies and stuns them for 1.25 seconds. It's not just the hero you hit, it's every nearby enemy hero, so you can do an AoE stun for 1.25 seconds if you time it right. That is fantastic. That is like being able to hit a Stormbolt from like one of Murden's Stormbolts on any of the enemies nearby if it had a AoE effect. That is awesome. Now, obviously, if you're using it to disengage, there's not going to be any stun. You're just using it to get away, but it has pretty nice range for that. His trait is Pyromania. It has a 90-second cooldown. Gain 25 armor and deal 40 damage to nearby enemies every 0.5 seconds for 4 seconds. Each hero hit by Flame Stream reduces Pyromania's cooldown by 5 seconds. So if you're constantly hitting people with your Q, you're going to reduce the cooldown here. So I do feel like the cooldown is pretty big, but there are ways, not just Flame Stream, but in his talents, to be able to try and reduce the cooldown even more, so you can be able to use it more often. Now, his heroics, this is where things got interesting, especially this first one. I could not believe that this was an ult when I saw it. Bunker drop. After half a second, deploy and enter a bunker with 1305 health. It was actually 1300, and for some reason they added 5 health. I don't think that was really necessary. I see you add 5 health to it. Why you even bother? That is so minuscule and so, like, that's not going to make a difference whatsoever. Blaze and his allies can enter and exit the bunker at will. While in the bunker, occupants gain access to flamethrower, dealing 179 damage to enemies in a line. Exiting the bunker grants 25 armor for 2 seconds. Bunkers last 10 seconds or until destroyed. Now, it is important to note that this will not help you hold a point, like a capture point. So let's say, for example, if both teams are fighting over a boss, and you think you could just drop this on the point to try and help your team steal or capture the boss, it's not going to work that way. The point will not acknowledge the bunker, so don't bother with that. Unfortunately, the only map that I really see this being effective on would be Infernal Shrines, because you could drop the bunker at the objective and use that to fight enemies as well as the enemy monsters at the shrine, because you're not capturing a point. You're destroying minion or little monsters as well as fighting the enemy team. So that's like where I think this could be really effective. In fact, I think this is where Infernal Shrines could be one of his better maps. The other one I think is going to be the more commonly picked ult on all the other maps, Combustion. Channel for up to 2.6 seconds. Upon ending, slow nearby enemies by 60% and deal 48 damage to them every half a second. Combustion slow and damage over time duration is extended the longer Blaze channels from 1 second up to 5 seconds. Blaze's movement speed is reduced by 50% while channeling. So he is able to provide a lot of crowd control, a lot of slows, and AoE damage. So, yeah, I like what's in his base kit. But then it gets better in his talent tree. You have some interesting stim packs here to choose from on level 1. Adrenaline stim pack, which gains attack speed and movement speed. This one gains a shield that absorbs damage over 5 seconds. This one gains 50 mana and causes ability cooldown recharge 100% faster for 5 seconds. And then we have new habits. Collecting regen globes reduce the cooldown on Pyromania by 5 seconds. There's another one I told you that helps you reduce the cooldown. When you collect 15 regen globes, and then when you activate Pyromania, you get an unstoppable for 2 seconds. So he gets his own cleanse. Think about that for a second. For a warrior, that is really great, especially if you're going up against a team that has a lot of crowd control. It's just, I mean, I haven't seen really anyone take this, but I think there are going to be times where this could be fantastic to provide yourself with an unstoppable, just like Garrosh does. At level 4, we have Fiend the Flame. Each hero hit by flame, she reduces the cooldown of oil spill by 1.5 seconds, excuse me. So if you want to be spamming that, that's a good one to pick up. Enemies standing in oil spill when it's ignited are slowed by 30% for 2.5 seconds. Now, the key here, it says when they are standing in the oil spill when it's ignited. So it's not like when they enter it, they're going to be hitting that slow. They have to be standing it when it is ignited. Oil dispersal. Increase oil spill's area by 20% and slow them out by 10%. Meltdown. Hitting enemy hero with Pyromania reduces their damage dealt by 5% for 2.5 seconds up to 30%. So when you activate your trait, you are not only getting armor and AoE damage, but you can also potentially be able to get an unstoppable, and you can be able to reduce the enemy hero's damage. I mean, that's incredible in a full-on team fight, to be able to give yourself damage reduction as well as reduce enemy damage for them against yourself and the enemy and your own teammates. Level 7. Hitting enemy with both streams of flame stream deal 132 bonus damage. Not quite easy to pull that off as often as you might think. Grill and Kill. Damage enemy heroes with ignited oil spill 60 times. Increase the oil spill's ignite duration by 2 seconds and damage by 25%. So that would make the duration of an ignited oil spill to 4.5 seconds, which is pretty nice. And then we have Incinerator Gauntlets. Increase basic attack area by 15% and basic attack damage to minions, mercenaries, and monsters by 50%. Additionally, basic attack splashes ignite oil spills. So there's a good and bad here. I've seen a lot of people talk about how you would want to get the timing of when you ignite the oil spill right in order to get the most out of it. And they think that having it where your basic attacks would ignite it would mess up the timing. But I do think that if you are going for a PvE kind of build, this is a great way to go. If otherwise I would say go with the Grill and Kill and try to pull that off. And then we have the ults, level 13. Each stream of Flame Stream reduces the spell power of heroes hit by 15% for 4 seconds up to 30%. So this is really good against a spell casting heavy team in quick match like a Kel'Thuzad, a Li Ming. You can imagine. Enemies standing in oil spills have their attack speed reduced by 40% for 2.5 seconds. So I guess if you're going up against an auto attack team, this could help out. You just gotta time your oil spills right. But here's what I like. Fuel Leak. Jet propulsion creates oil spills along Blaze's path. If jet propulsion impacts an enemy hero, an additional oil spill is created underneath him. So you can be able to put multiple oil spills down to ignite them. That is fantastic when you think about it. I love that. Level 16. Each enemy hit by jet propulsion grants 10 armor for 3 seconds and reduces its cooldown by 2 seconds. So if you charge in, hit an enemy hero, you get armor there based on how many heroes you hit. Plus, then if you activate Pyro Mini, you get additional armor. There's a number of things that you can be able to utilize here. Heat Treatment. Heal for 75% of the damage dealt by Pyromania. Now, obviously, this is very dependent. See, this is why I think the cooldown is a big factor. The fact that it's a 90-second cooldown. How often are you going to get value out of this? Juggernaut Plating, an activation ability. Activate to gain 50 spell armor for 3 seconds. Upon expiration, gain a shield equal to 100% of the spell damage reduced by Juggernaut Plating. So this is, would be really, and by the way, that shield just lasts, just indefinitely until it's gone. So this would be great against a spell casting heavy team. Like if you have a Kael'thas Pyroblast headed your way, or if Kel'Thuzad is going to do his big combo on you. There's a number of ways you could utilize this. Level 20. Occupants can cast oil spill from bunker drop every 6 seconds. The armor. See, the oil spill thing is really not that great. It's kind of but I do like that it gives you increased armor, 50 armor for 3 seconds. That's really nice. While channeling combustion, Blaze's movement speed is no longer reduced and nearby enemies are slowed by 60%. So that could be really good. And then we have another auto attack talent here, Burn Notice. Basic attack slow enemies by 5% and deal additional damage. So it's basically Nexus Blades for him. It's an additional damage over 2.5 seconds and it stacks up to 5 times. So you can go with an auto attack build if you want and really try to do it. And I kind of did like that idea. And in fact, I think that is what we might try here right now. My initial impressions are that I do like what he has. I just don't know how strong it really is. Do I think he could be a solo tank? Potentially. Maybe in the right hands if they do everything right. I don't know. So I'm going to try a very simple basic build here. I'm not saying this is the go-to way. This is the go-to build or anything. But it's just kind of a, let's experiment with it, see how it does. Alright, so let me kind of adjust the volume audio here.
4, 3, 2, 1. Go, supplicant.
Okay.
Slay my enemies.
I'm going to go with new habits. Mainly because there is a ton of regen globes on this map. When you are getting the Garden Terror, you are constantly... I can use this to... Nope, never mind. You cannot use your jet propulsion to get out of Nazebo's wall. That is not a thing that you can do. I just established that. Can activate Pyromania to get in here, do some AoE damage. See, I hit him, stunned him. There we go. Got a stun on Misha there. Ignite that to do some damage there. Thank you, Uther. I'm gonna go ahead and Sippy Cup. Boom! Charge in. Got Rexar there. Alright. So, Blaze, Kerrigan, Uther, Asmodan, Raynor versus Karazim, Rexar, Tychus, Sylvanas, and Nazebo. Hey. I think they also nerfed regen globes. But then again, they didn't nerf how often you can get regen globes, which is fine with me. By the way, Misha counts towards the ability to use your Q to reduce the cooldown of your Pyromania. Boom. Oh, I'm in trouble. Oh, thank you, Uther. Go. Let's see here. What? Let's go with the increased area and slow oil dispersal. Let's see. Yeah, that's a pretty notable area there. See, can I get the stun on Sylvanas there? Yes, I did, and that is going to... Oh! Oh, and I activate Pyromania is hoping that armor would keep me alive. But it did not. Now I've already wasted my big cooldown there.
Night will fall in just a few moments. I hope you're ready.
So obviously because I took new habits, I'm not saying this is an auto attack build. I just think that this could be a potential easy beginner build. Not necessarily the best go-to build, not at all. I can already tell that there's going to be other builds that are going to be better than this one, but... Do that to slow him. There we go. So you don't even have to ignite to get the kill. You can just use that to slow them down and then just chase them. Oh, let me go down here just to grab this globe. I love the sound effect of the oil can just like falling there, spilling. Oh. Oh my goodness. I can also use that in order to try and help me escape. The AI is getting into a big fight up there. Alright, we're gonna go with Incinerator Gauntlets. Again, I'm not saying this is the better talent. But then again, I think this damage might also be applied, this extra damage to monsters, may also be applied to the Garden Terror. Obviously, we gotta test that out. Uh-oh. Is that charge in there? Slow them down.
No point dying on me, soldier. Get healed up and get back here.
Thank you, Kerrigan. I love that she said that because she's wearing the Queen of Ghosts skin. Get down here and help out again. Help out with this Asmodan here. Okay. Thank you, Uther. Smells like victory. Yeah, he does have some good lines. I do like some of Blaze's lines. They're really good, I think. Alright, so on this map, I would go with Combustion. Alright, so there we go. We finished our new habits quest. So I am now going to do that so I can get my unstoppable here. I'm going to activate my combustion, and because I was stunned out of it, it went off. Trying to see if I can finish this Tychus. I don't think I'm going to be able to. Unfortunately, the Misha and Rexar are all over me. So yeah, obviously, he can't survive everything.
Night falls in 30 seconds. Are you ready for some amusement?
But I don't know. There's something about Blaze that makes me think that I can take this. I can survive. I don't know what it is. Maybe it's the fact that I'm constantly doing AOE damage and such. I don't know. I'm doing, I think, decent damage. In here, trying to help out the Kerrigan and Uther.
It is time.
Nope.
Do what must be done.
Ah, I totally missed. And you can activate Pyromania and then your ult if you want to. And then use your jet propulsion to get away. Now, obviously if this was a real game, they would have been chasing me to try and kill me without question.
The terror awaits. Come, take its power.
But again, it's that feeling that you can go in there, use your armor, your ult, and be able to use it to either engage or disengage. It's just, it feels great.
It's over for now. But don't
I
get
really
too
like his
comfortable.
kit.
The infested will return again.
Is it incredibly strong? Eh, maybe not, but... There we go.
A test has grown for your enemies, heroes.
Okay, I'm gonna go with Fuel Leak.
Your enemy's terror is gone.
There we go.
Your terror has been cut down. Don't get cocky. Still more to do.
Oh, and if you drop an oil spill on an already ignited oil spill, it will just go ahead and ignite it, like, automatically. If I can time this right, I can show you. So that's ignited. I drop this, and it immediately gets ignited because it went into that one that was already on fire. So you can charge in with your Unstoppable and your armor, and then activate your combustion so that it can't stun you out of it. I like that combo. Of course, it's only really gonna apply that much if you do go with the new habits to get the Unstoppable on your Pyromania. Drop that oil spill just to slow them down so we can try and get away. Okay. So I think that potentially could be a really strong combo, being able to charge in, get the stun, activate your Pyromania so you can get your armor and your Unstoppable, and then activate your combustion so you can try and get an early channel on your ult. I think that could provide a lot of crowd control and damage. Alright, so... there we go, got him. And so if you go for that combo, you could get value out of this with the healing that you would be getting from it. Or you could go with thermal protection, and if you time it right and get the extra armor from the heroes you hit, 75% of the damage dealt. Right now we'd be dealing 75 damage every half a second. Yeah, I think thermal protection may actually be more beneficial in terms of the armor. Armor has become pretty valuable in this game. It's one of the reasons why I've been enjoying playing more Garrosh. Where if I have low health, I'm just like, I don't need to go back, I'm fine. I don't necessarily feel that same way with Blaze, but right now he has 5,200 maximum health. That's pretty good. That's a pretty good amount of maximum health. I could get myself my Unstoppable to get myself out of there, but that, again, that's a 90-second cooldown. And I think that's probably going to be one of his biggest problems, is people are going to avoid it just simply because it's a big cooldown. Now see, the ME team is here. If I could time this right... boom! Look at that big AoE stun I just provided against the enemy team. Oh, nice. Boom! Stun him out of it. Oh, if I had my stun. I do, because of Rainer. Look at that. Oh, that felt good. That felt good. Look at this. I'm the warrior, and yet I'm doing a ton of damage. Obviously, this is an AoE. It's an AI game, so don't take it too seriously, but I hope that the point I'm trying to make here about Blaze is being made pretty clear. I hope so. That I like what he potentially has here. Do I think it's could make him like top tier in this game? No. But I think there's a lot of really cool stuff that could be done with this. Look at the range on that stun. On that jet propulsion. That is a fantastic range. Oh. Okay, that was actually a pretty decent mind control there. But then I get myself my Unstoppable and armor to try and get myself out of that. Oh. Tychus! He is right there. So is Rek'Sai. Never mind, he got stunned. Then activate combustion. There we go. There we go. Oh, I got the stun on the Rek'Sai. Put a slow right there so that he can't leave. Blaze just feels so good. I really like his kit. He has a slow. He has a skill shot. He has a charge that can provide a stun if he uses it to engage into a fight or use it to get out of a fight. He has a means to provide armor along with AoE damage, as well as an unstoppable if you go that route. He has a giant AoE slow and damage dealing ult. There's a number of things he has in his kit that I just love. I think Blaze is, I think they did Blaze really well. I really like what he has in his kit. If you want to follow along and test it out, obviously this is not a recommended build, I would say, in terms of if you want to play him at a high level. I would say this is a nice beginning, like, start things off with him. If you're trying him out for the first time, you want to kind of get a feel on how he can play. New habits: oil dispersal, incinerator gauntlets, combustion, fuel leak, thermal protection. If it had gone to level 20, I probably would have taken burn notice. It's just what I think is a very simple, basic build for him. It still feels strong, though. It still feels strong. I think there's going to be other different ways. I think that, obviously, the stim packs is going to be a big thing. I think Neural or Adrenaline is going to be the way to go. I think I've been seeing other people go with either Adhesive Petroleum or Oil Dispersal. Grill and Kill, I think, will definitely be the go-to choice there. I think because of that, I think, yeah, the Fuel Leak will definitely be the way to go. I think this will be a strong choice if you are going against a very spell damage heavy team. But really, if that's not the case, then you're probably not going to want to bother. And then I think Flash Fire, although Burn Notice still will probably be pretty strong. I haven't fully tested out yet because you got to get into level 20. Although I could go into try mode and check that out, and I probably will, to see how effective the damage from that could actually be. But bottom line, I really like what Blaze has in his kit, and I'm definitely looking forward to playing him. He just feels good and fun to play, especially because he's a warrior and he has a lot of health, and I feel like I could solo queue into quick match with him a lot and not have to worry about a lot of crazy burst damage assassins ruining your fun time in the game, like Valera and Nova, because he's a high health warrior. So I really, really like Blaze. Now, Blaze was introduced, and then another character. Now, various characters got some tweaks and changes. I think Zeratul got buffed, Nova got nerfed, but there was another character that actually got a talent rework, and it's one of my mains, Malfurion.